Hello again. This is the Waterman, Spiritual Toolbox number 252, John chapter 3, number 101, audio recording number 570, and examination table number 230. Let's documento. Let's get it. Let's dissect this bad boy. Let's get it out and prove it for ourselves. Does it or does it not resonate within you? Does what I'm saying, does what this words are telling you, are you hearing it from the Spirit? Does it resonate with you as truth of God? Or does it resonate? Doesn't it resonate? It's just a bunch of hog slop. If it's hog slop, you better spit that stuff out. Vomit it out of your mouth like the Father God. Vomit you out of his mouth. You're partaking of that stuff. Yuck. That's no good. It's no good. Don't swallow that bull crap, dude. Or do that. Whatever. You don't want none of that. It'll make you sick. But if that's what you want, that's your choice. It's your free choice to choose. Please don't swallow that, my child. Right? It's like God telling you, please don't swallow that. Oh, well. But you have to go through it again. Right? God desires for you to come out of that stuff. Now, let's documento this thing. Let's study it so we can accurately handle, rightly divide or accurately handle the word of truth in that very twinkling of an eye, in that moment, right in the center of that storm of our life, right? Centrifuge. At whatever stage, whatever level of development, of purification in the spirit, this thought process, any one of those little marbles, the marble thinking processes. And God's working where? Inside you. When any one of them little marble thinking processes within your universe of a mind, that cosmos, that orderly arrangement in the mind of humanity, not talking and just sit out here and don't see it, know nothing in here. Get your seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell with God in control, not with that old stinking thinking. Rightly divide or accurately handle. No, when it's a stinking thinking, that old ego telling you to do it, that needs to be let go of. Let go of your ego. Kick that thing's butt out. Because it's belittling God. It's blasphemous. It's directly opposed. It's at enmity with God. That carnal mind, that non-spiritual mind, your own righteousness is as filthy stinking rags. Okay? Lots of ways God shows us this. Okay? You got to interpret this with the love of God, not this red way. Okay? You got to see clearly. Don't see, hear, touch, or smell with that ego in your way. It's going to tell you wrong. Acknowledge God is the truth. And all this humanistic thinking with that old log in your eye and your seeing, your taste, touch, and smell, it's crap, it's diarrhea. That's a liar. And the truth's not in it. It accuses you falsely. It tries to befriend you and tell you it's your buddy. It's Satanas. It's your buddy. It's your friend. It's a messenger of light. But it's a false messenger of light. It's a phantom of your mind. If that's what that cherub that was placed at the east side of the Garden of Eden to protect the way, to guard the way back to the tree of life, back to God himself, back to the fullness of life in God, that Zoe life is placed there in your mind to guard the way back. I'm interpreting some stuff with the Spirit. You're not hearing this probably from anybody else. Spirit of God, you might, but the Spirit of God is bringing this stuff together. Huh? God's didn't waste any, he doesn't waste any time. All the stuff you can, no matter how much stuff you go through in your life, it's not as much as what Jesus went through. Because he endured the suffering of the cross. He endured everything as a man. In our place, he fulfilled it. So that we can see there's the pattern, son. That's the way, the truth, and the life. To get back to the Father. Into. Going from out of, into, to towards and into, right? Ice. Ice. And then en. Resting and relying in God. And then syn. In union with God. You're going from your carnal thinking a little bit at a time to the mind of Christ, to the way God thinks. You're putting on, from doing it your own insignia, from that carnal mind, being stamped, in control, being married to your own seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. That thing's got to die. You got to die to yourself. Become a widower of this, just by like giving. Like the poor widow woman gave all that she had. And you do it each time and then trust in that seed of Christ. That like singularity, that tiny, tiny, tiny thing, but it's infinitely dense in character of God that God provided inside you as an insurance policy. And then as you gain each little strand given from God, each time you're overcoming, he's increasing your ability to love as he loves you. As he loves you. His love is beyond the description of mere words. He's putting this in you. His name, his authority, his stamp of approval. Not this alpha dog, your own ego stamp of approval. That's got to beat it. Just beat it. You know what I mean? Go on ahead and get out of here before I kick you in the mouth, you nasty dog. Right? Get rid of that daggone barking, that beast nature. He's trying to say God is a monster. That's stupid. That's blasphemous. It's got you so tripped up and twisted around and twisted. The word, the thought processes of God, of being he's the greatest. He's your exceeding great reward, and it's turning around and making, oh, he's a monster. Which way are you going to believe? God's spinning it up in those storms of your life. At whatever level you need it. To go to a little bit deeper in him. The deep calls it to the deep. Not going back to this old stinking thinking, right? You got to trust in that gap filler. That seed of Christ plus everything that he's given you. All the increases. That's all your good news in this. See, Jesus died on the cross. Came to fulfill this thing. To give you that gap filler. That was before when? The conception of the world. This outward thing in this, more importantly, here. God didn't mess up. He's omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. How could the sovereign God, the supreme divinity, mess up? Don't you think that carnal mind's twisting it to your destruction and saying, oh, I'm your buddy, I'll protect you, you better be afraid of God? God left it that way in the King James language, so you got to study to show yourself as you diligently seek him. You got to believe from out of this stuff. Have that faith. Exercise, right? Exercise this faith. That seed, plus whatever you got. The seed to get that one. Then that seed in the next storm to get that 2. Then that seed to get that 4 strands plus the 2 branches, 1. See, they're all twisted together, and then you use that seed, kind of like a cement, like that's to glue them all together. It's the thing that binds it together, makes it a stronger rope. That's a Christ. That's the good news, not this old stuff. I condemn you to whatever. Gotta elevate yourself out of this parade of life, else to a higher way, to God's right-mindedness, to God's righteous way. Burn up that garbage thinking, and always in an upper manner. Elevate yourself in the spirit. Rely upon God, and He'll bring you to 1, to 2, to 4, to 8, to 16, 32, 64, 128. It's doubling exponentially. Seeing that rope's getting bigger and bigger. It's purifying. It's like one thought process. God can do however He wants. But what He's doing is taking and making it just like the cucumbers to the pickle. And that boiling water and the bitter vinegar solution, and bringing it up when He's satisfied, not when you're satisfied. Because your fleshly thinking's weak. But the Spirit's willing. And the flesh is weak, right? Spirit's willing, the flesh is weak. Right? Your fleshly thinking's weak as weak can be. Huh? Okay, and we really started in this John 3:18, but I'm giving a little interpretation here. Don't overview. Now, let's get into this. I could keep going, but let's just get into this. We're going. This is building. He's rebuilding His temple in you. Tear down that old humanistic thinking temple. That humanistic building inside you, no matter how grand you think it is, man, I'm just a big bad Billy. Oh man, my shack is just, I'm just a daggone weakling. Mentally and everything, good, bad, it's all ugly. Don't matter, it's not of God. God's taken that out. To in your earth, He's taking that fleshly thinking out. Bringing you back into spiritual thinking. If you'll agree, trust in the Lord with everything you got. Love God with everything you got. Love your fellow human beings as yourself. But you can't just start up there all of a sudden, man, I'm up there, I'm just as strong inside as... No, you gotta build that. When you're born in the natural, or conceived in your mother's womb, you're a breathos, an unborn child. Man, you're not strong. Nobody is. When you're born, you're an infant. 0 to 2-year-old. You're not talking with a bunch of wisdom because you're just starting to say, Dada, Mama, Papa. And you mean, I got my diaper dirty. Poo-poo pee-pee in it. Something wrong. I got a tummy ache or my gums hurt. You can't even really, you can't formulate, you're not really even thinking. You're developing. Huh? Same thing, spirit. You gotta go through all these phases, and then each and every thought process you're going through, you're being changed from this unrighteousness to the righteousness of God, to that love that's conditional and it's very bitter and hateful and mean, to this love that goes beyond the description of mere words. It's beyond human nature at all. Yuck, that's a liar and the truth's not in it. Huh? You don't even know how to truly love. None of us do. God teaches us through all this stuff and brings us back into His way of loving. And it's not always wishy-washy, give you a tiptoe through the tool, give you whatever, give you, here's an ice cream. No, His ways are far above that, right? Like Isaiah 55, verse 9, God's thought processes. We got to change to Him. Be ye conformed by the renewing of your mind, right? See, what is that on the... I'm just going to read it from the King James. I'll read it from the New King James. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And be ye not conformed to this world, this outward world, and this orderly arrangement in your mind, that fleshly thinking, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. I didn't even translate that. I mean, go in and look at that. That's Romans 12, 1 and 2. Man, that's just out of the New King James, but oh my goodness, it's so much more powerful than that. Okay? Now let's get back here and I'm going to get into this. John 3, verse 18. Okay, just a little taste. Let's get my whistle wet, I guess. Okay, verse 18 in the King James Version. Remember, you're just skimming the Bible. It says, "He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God." Okay? Now, let's start breaking this down. Very first word, he that, is a very familiar word. Ha. 3588. It's this one, that one, the definite article. That's that muddy ball of water. Where's God working? Inside your mind, in those little muddy balls of water. He'll purify that muddy ball if you keep a green light in these storms of life, no matter what. He's purifying it. And it has to boil. To purify water. If you have muddy water and you brought it in, put it in a pot, like under a fire, it has to boil. Huh? Okay. So, and you have to turn from that old stinking thinking and go back in God full bore into God's right-mindedness. He's purifying your muddy ball of water. Little bit by little bit by little bit. Changing it from this old stinking thinking back into His higher way, into His right-mindedness, into His love that goes beyond the description of mere words. Right? Been going over this over and over and over. Right? So they translate it as he that, but it's that ha, the muddy ball of water, okay? Okay, so each one of your little thought processes. The next word, believeth. Okay? That comes from 4100, and it's that pisteuo. Pisteuo.
Strong's G, 4100, pisteuo.
Okay, that's a verb, and it's the same as the one that was in John 3:16. I could look it up, but I'll just go ahead. That's take a just a minute here. I want to get this. Yeah, I'm gonna break it. I broke it all down back in John 3:16, back to the pistis. It comes from pistis. Okay, this pistuo is the let's go ahead to pistuo is the verb form of it. It comes from 4102, and that's the pistis. Okay, and pistis is a feminine noun. Okay, now in short, it's to trust one's spiritual well-being to Christ, the green way. Come from your own righteousness to God's righteousness. It's turning this measure of faith, this limited portion of faith, this little bitty seed, and it's increasing you when you trust in God with everything you got, and it's increasing you into the truth of God. He's twisting in a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more of these seeds. These strings. Right? Just like it says, the word that they translate as weight in Isaiah chapter 40, verse 30 and 31, I think it is. Those that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They'll mount up with wings as eagles. They'll run and not grow weary. They'll walk and not faint. That wait is to actively wait, like the where God's twisted his strings, and a little bit more, make it a stronger and stronger and stronger rope. Because the individual string is a break. Pretty easy. Okay? It's basically trusting that seed of Christ, that seed of faith, plus whatever strings he's giving you. And he'll increase it to 1, to 2, to 4, to 8, and twisting all these strings together. Giving all that you got, because you're like the widow woman, giving all that she's got to increase. She gave the most. Right? Aren't you going back in to be the bride of Christ? So you go back in, he's appearing. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Making his appearance. Boom, increase, increase, increase. God's love. God's giving you the ability to love as he loves. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit. It makes you stronger. My strength is in the Lord. It's not in me. Not in my, me, myself, and I. Not in that ego. Gotta let go of that ego. Right? It's no longer I that lives, but it's Christ that lives in me. As he's purifying you. He's returning as you're overcoming. He's returning in your clouds, in your thought processes, inside you. That's becoming a reality. That's your good news. This is my gospel. I'll have to look that up for you. I'm not going to right at the moment because I'm trying to stay focused here on what I'm doing. Apostle Paul, I believe, who said that? This is my gospel, or my good news. Going from that old stinking thing where it's villainizing God. It's enmity with God, to go into God is the greatest. And here's the proof. He's proven it inside of me. You got to get it for yourself. Right? Everybody works out, every man work out his own salvation, deliverance from that old stinking thinking. Not in fear and trembling, but respect, honor, reverence. Oh my, love of God, recognizing. Oh wow, Father God, you are the greatest. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. Hurrah, oh, hurrah, oh, hurrah, oh. Hurrah, oh, right? Turning from that old thing, going the green way, boom, 1 to 2 to 4 to, getting stronger in him in each and every thought process. I went over and over and over this, right? Now, so this pistuo is like this faith actively. You're trusting in that seed of faith, that measure, that limited portion of measure. Like in Romans chapter 12, verse 3, where he gave everybody, all, pas, a measure of faith, a metron, a limited portion. Okay? Now, let's see here. Now, let's see here. Where am I? Yeah. I had it right here. Had it even color-coded green. Looking all over the place. It's right there. It's to try this in short. The pistuo is a verb. It's actively to trust one's spiritual well-being to Christ, the green way. Turn from that red way, go to the green way. Again and again and again. Trust in the Lord always. Right? Now, so now we got a ha, which they translate he that, but it's ha, that's muddy boil water. That believeth, that actively trust in God, right? Puts that faith in action. Right? Turn from that, metanoia. Turn, repent, change the way you think about that. Ooh, that's yuck. Vomit it out of your mouth and go back to God. Believeth in God. Okay? Now this next word, they translate this on. Wrong. It's not on. He that believeth on. Better look. Let's look. I'll help you. Okay? On is from 1519. EIS. Very familiar word. Here you go.
Strong's G 1519. Ice. Ice.
Ice. Now you tell me, what's that mean? To and towards. Right? Indicating the point reached or entered. You're going back into Christ. If you're disagreeing with God, or you're doing anything but going in hot pursuit of God, you're disagreeing, and you're going towards, you're staying in your old crap thinking, your old righteousness thing. That's the red way. Yuck. Change the way you think about that. And go the green way. Go back into God. Full bore, everything you got. You're a widow. Become a widow to that old ego dog. Kick its butt out. Get your ass out of here, right? Get that beast nature out. Get that donkey out of me. Get out of here. All you do is say hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. Where it's good, bad, ugly. It's all ugly. You jackass, get out. You're going to be mean to something, be mean to that. That beast nature. It's not your friend. It's trying to rule you inside. Trick you, get you deceived, thinking all kinds of stuff, phantoms of the mind and stuff. That's a terrible moral imagination. It's imaginary figures. They're to keep you from getting back to the tree of life. So you'll trust in that, you'll eat from that tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's ugly, that's red way. Yeah. It's vomit. Don't let that thing pull you down. Don't let that thing pull you down and make you think, oh, I'm flying high now, man. I'm just going great. And you're not progressing at all into the right-mindedness of God, into that love of God at all. You can't. It's not by your might or your power that you go there. That red way won't do it. Recognize, acknowledge, make God true. And all that humanistic thinking is a liar. The truth's not in it. It's wrong. Get out of here. Hear that gong saying wrong, 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 wrong. Don't swallow it, son. Don't swallow it, my daughter. Right? In the spirit, there's different male and female. Don't swallow it, my child. Be zipping it up there to whatever level you need. He's separating it with his word, his spiritual word, his thought processes. That storms of your life, so that you can see it, just like centrifugal force. What? That centrifuge. Separating it out there. It's not to make you think, oh, this is awful. That's your carnal mind checking you. These things are tough, In the world there must be tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. John 16:33, right? Now, so ice is into, not on, into, right? So, he that is really ha, believeth, pistuo, on is really ice, and then him is altos, 846.
Strong's G 846. Altas.
Right.
Altas.
That's he, she, or it, and it's akin to 109, a air, through the idea of a baffling or confusing wind, that centrifuge, right? Don't say it's beating you up. No, it's blowing. God's blowing His Spirit to separate that stuff. So you get an opportunity. You can choose to come back to me. Repent, change the way you think about that other stuff. Come back to me. Sit, be reasonable. Sit my way, my child, right? All right. It's like, Hebrews chapter 4, verse 9 through 12. I'll have to read that to you another time. I'm getting just about out of time, okay? You gotta turn and come back to God, okay? I'm gonna put a line right here so I can come and I'll start here next time, okay? I'll probably go ahead and record some of these on this audio recording so I can just keep going. I'm about to run out of time here, okay? That was Spiritual Toolbox 2.